with production itself, one thing, because you're one of the masters of it as far as filtering, slowing things down, pitching them up, pitching them down, that type of thing.
Yeah.
When did it really register to you that you understood how to hear a record and then know how to alter it to make it work for rap or work for you or work for what you wanted?
Well, I used to listen to Prince Paul and wonder how he would, you know, I would find a record like Potholes in my Lawn, listen to it, and it's slower than the De La song. And I'm like, well, how did he do this? Like, and there was a thing called stretching. You know, that's where I learned that from. Got into that, then found other little tricks. Once you onto one thing, you accidentally bump into a whole bunch of other things. And you're like, well, damn, what if I did this? What it would sound like? And then that's how I would find things.
Okay.
And alter sound and change pitch, stretch, tempos, you know, that type of thing. So I was always amazed by Prince Paul's music.
I definitely think he's one of the most underrated people out there. He's phenomenal.
Definitely.
Because I've talked, Daddy-O and I have talked a lot about that, because people even underappreciate like the swing he brought and helped Stetsasonic with by joining Stetsasonic.
He made top billing. I mean, geez.
Yeah, Daddy-O knows.
Geez. I mean, come on, man. What can you say to a man like that but learn from this man? That's all you could do, because he was the one. He was a leader, actually, you know. And, you know, a lot of things Daddy-O was behind, people don't know. You know what I mean? And so,
well, top billing, that's a main one right there.
That's the one. I mean, I love to go Stetson, all the Stetsasonic stuff. You know what I'm saying? All that jazz, everything. Daddy-O was that guy, you know.
Yeah.
Still, man, still out here trying to get it popping.
Yeah, for sure. And then with sampling with SP 1200 or the SK 900 Akai, all that type of stuff, how did you know and appreciate the differences of what everything was bringing and start, you know,
you just got to get the hang of it, and you have to become the machine itself and be rhythmic with the machine. You got to, you know, that's the challenge right there. Hey, it's me against the machine. And once you're in that mode, anything can happen. And so when you fall into it, eventually, you know, you do things that's like, you know, different. You know what I'm saying? When you're making beats. And, you know, I remember when I did Faking Jacks and Dilla heard it and called me and was like, yo, Q-Tip too. And it was like, yo, what's that sound you put in the beat, in the bass line? It's like that wah-wah sound. What is that? What are you doing? You know, and I told Dilla what I did. I didn't tell Q-Tip, but I told Dilla. And I told him that, like, it was this EQ I was using, you know, mount. It was a mount, EQ mount thing. It's like a rack mount, and it had these little red, yellow, green buttons on it. And one day my engineer was playing with it and I heard some type of warping, like wah sound. And I was like, whoa, what was that? And, you know, I exercised it more and got that sound, you know what I'm saying? And started doing that in beats. So, you know, that was just a quick little story. But yeah, once you get into the machines, man, anything can happen.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Q-Tip, I remember too, back in the day, you had told me that Ali Shaheed Muhammad didn't realize or know or appreciate that you had done the Shut 'Em Down remix initially.
Yeah.
And that Tip and Fife were always asking him like who you were or how did you do it or what have you. So what were those conversations like?
Shit, I don't even remember those combos, to be honest. But I remember Tribe and them saying that we were secretly competing with one another. I didn't know this, but I was, you know, those are the conversations I would have with Ali, and me and Tip would just talk about records, going digging, you know, beats and stuff like that. But yeah, I would have those kind of talks with Ali. Yeah, and I didn't know that we were secretly competing because I used to love Tribe and their beats, and from the first album on, you know what I'm saying?
Well, one thing, speaking of the first album, People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of Rhythm,
Yep.
one of the things that is a signature of that album and Low End Theory, of course, and then, of course, a lot of your work are the bass lines and the bottom.
Yes.
So for you, I assume it's a reggae or Jamaican, but is that why that is so important to you?
Yeah, you said it right there, bro. You said it right there. The reggae music that I was raised on, that heavy bass and drum, and the reggae artists, it was Jamaican hip hop before hip hop. People just gotta realize that's what it was. Hip hop was in Jamaica first. Kool Hurricane, you know, he'll tell you. Just ask him, man. You know, just ask him. You have people with different views, not realizing where actually the roots to hip hop came from. Came from Jamaica.
Well, I also, this is later to skip ahead for a minute, but I remember on New York's Finest album that you had the Ready for War, how you were rapping in kind of the patois. So I always liked that, appreciated that. Because
shout out to Chip Fu and Renee Nouvelle. They killed it too with me on that song.
Yeah, Jeanne. So what do you remember about making Ready for War? Why you wanted to do the patois on that one in particular?
The patois in me, the Jamaican in me wanted to do that, you know. You know, and yeah, I love that song actually.
Me too. That's why I always think about it.
Yeah. And it was appropriate for the times because, you know, a lot of political things are going down. So boom, Ready for War.
Okay. Now back to some of the remix stuff. When They Reminisce Over You and Shut 'Em Down remix and all these things were really blowing up, even Straighten It Out, all this stuff is happening. How you were being interacted with change in the industry, with artists, like with people, how did you see that evolving?
At first it was rough, but you know, I had to get used to it. You mean like the changes in hip hop, right? Before it changed from what it was to what it is now.
Well,
yeah.
But also like it's one thing to have a lot of people like your stuff, but then to have like a lot of big video songs, a lot of big smashes, working with different artists that most people wouldn't have associated you with Public Enemy probably before. And now they do. So how did
because it Shut 'Em Down and Night Train.
Yeah.
And I did 2 versions of Night Train and put CL on one of the versions.
Yeah.
And that was like with the James Brown sample or whatever. But the changes, I mean, you know, it was going one way, and you know, the world spins, man. You know, things change, and things, you know, you just got to change with it. At first, I didn't realize, you know, it was rough. I didn't like anything. I didn't like what I was listening to or on the radio, blah blah blah. But then, you know, after a while, you kind of, whatever you don't like, you just tune out, and whatever it's clever to you, you keep close. And I always keep my ear tuned to the streets, and so even though I don't listen to radio anymore, it's been like over 7-8 years, but I do listen to satellite radio. When I was doing radio and playing hip hop music and had to witness the changes being made, you know, I just kind of roll with the punches, and you know, still was able to do real hip hop music underground with Marley, Future Flavors. You know, we did that, and I was able to still express and play hip hop music that wasn't heard by talented artists. You know what I'm saying? And you know, today it's a little different. You know, it's a little different, but you just kind of keep that blueprint of what hip hop really is, and you express it to people who want to hear it and who believe in it and believe that hip hop is about being original. And you could do new stuff, and now you have you can pick your poison now. It's different prisons of hip hop you can enjoy.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the amazing things to me and that I always appreciated too is your ability to work with artists from different eras. Like for instance, when you did Down with the King, like a lot of people probably weren't looking like, oh, that's a natural thing that should happen. But when you did it and being on the song too, it just added a new, I think, perspective to Run DMC, because clearly they could still rap. They were still great artists, still great performers.
Of course.
So as a producer, what was your objective going into Down with the King, understanding the climate at the time, understanding their status in the game? Like how does
just I'm the new guy. Let's do this. I'm so far my track record is working. Trust in me, and I'll make sure I put my best foot forward. And I had Jam Master Jay on my side the whole time, kept my spirits up about everything. Him and DMC, they was with it. You know what I'm saying? I had to prove myself to Russell Simmons. And show him that what I was doing was the new thing. It was the correct, he made a good choice here. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to prove myself in that way, and I did. And thanks to Jam Master Jay, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? He actually made the beat with me. You know what I mean? He was tapping on the drum machine, playing around in my basement, playing with the drum sounds. And he was like, yo, I want you to tap this out like this. Doom, da, doom, doom, da. And I just hit record and said, you do it. You know what I'm saying? And he did it. And then I just capitalized on the rest.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I remember you had told me you did that in the Jump Around remix at the Hit Factory too, kind of at the same time.
Yeah. I was mixing Jump Around, D.O.C Effects, and Down with the King. 3 things at once.
Wow.
Yeah, I was Super Pete Rock. That was in the Hit Factory on 42nd Street when it used to be on 42nd. I had 3 rooms going.
Wow.
Yep, sure did. I don't know how I did that.
I was about to ask you.
I don't know how I did that. Like, man, I was just going from room to room. I'll spend an hour in one room, go to the next, spend another hour in that room. The engineers knew what they were doing. And so they took a lot of direction from me, and what I wanted, how I wanted it. I would go in there and fix it, make sure, okay, like this, lay it like that, then go back to the other room, work on something else. You know what I'm saying? Then go to the other room and finish off that. Oh, it was crazy. So only a crazy man could do that.
And I want you to listen real close to me. I'm going to ask you some real simple questions, and I want some real simple answers. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You said that you couldn't have possibly been at the crime scene at 11:15 because you were in the bookstore buying my audio book and my hardcover book at 11:15 when the crime scene occurred in Soren's book.
The History of Gangster Rap.
So you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying the books.
Right. At 11:15, I was at the bookstore at 11:15, and when I bought the books and accidentally left them at the store.
So at 11:15, you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying books, right?
At 11:15, when I was leaving, it was some people coming in. and I forgot to grab it.
But you don't remember who
What
those
they
other
look
people,
like.
what they look like or nothing, right?
No.
So, at 12:15, you in the bookstore buying my audio book and hardcover book and Soren's book at 12:15. So you couldn't have been at the scene because you were buying the books, right?
Yeah. At 12, exactly. At 12:15 exactly, I was at the bookstore.
Now you see. You know you done fucked up.
Which you
So
mean?
first you said you were at the bookstore at 11:15, and then you said it was 12:15. You know you done fucked up, right? He fucked up.
Yeah, he fucked up.
He fucked up.
Man, you confusing me, man.
So, you get my book, my audio book, 40 years, and Soren's book, History of Gangster Rap, and if you don't, you know you done fucked up, right?
Man, the more those cops ask me questions, the more I wish I bought them motherfucking books.